Alright guys, hello and welcome back to another episode of Total War Warhammer Online Battles. Today we've got an epic 3v3. It was on the same map as the first episode I did because people seem to really like this map. I think it's the use of the trees on one flank which allow for some covered units and this big open area, and this tower does look very cool as well. It's a very cool scenery. So over here I am playing once again as the Dwarves, just because I really went through a phase where I loved this build, really utilising Iron Breakers and Slayers. So Iron Breakers would always make my solid core of my front line, and then I'd have Slayers on the flanks to deal with any large units by leader. Had some rifles this time instead of Bugman Rangers, Thunderers. And then one unit of catapults. I believe they're the regular, they're not the elite ones. But they are just two units actually, and they are just to keep the enemy busy. I am teamed up with a High Elf army. They are fielding some White Lions of Trace, some Swordsmen of Hoeth, Phoenix Guard, so really high tier infantry off the bat. And then we've got some Spearmen watching the flanks from the forest, assuming some cavalry will come. Their leader, is it Teclis? Yep, Teclis. And then they've got a big front line of archers here. Not Lothern Sea Guard, which is usually the default that people go to with High Elves. They love having a Lothern Sea Guard because they can obviously switch to counter things. And then my last ally for the day is the Skaven, who, as the Skaven should, are bringing a big group of infantry. No Rat Ogres, which is a shame because they're big damage, but they do bring some artillery. So all this artillery on our side, I think 6 units between us. We really should force the engage here, and we are up against today some High Elves, also fielding some high tier infantry, but unlike the other leader, they're bringing along a Star Dragon with a regular princess, and I believe that's a Life Wizard. Oh no, High Wizard. Interesting. Usually they bring a Life Wizard if there's a dragon to heal them up. Fielding some archers, some Swordsmen of Hoeth again, lots of White Lions of Trace for this guy. And then we'll see in the middle, we have a big core of Beastmen infantry. These are very low tier units, really not worried about these, but they did bring a Cygor, who's always really good artillery support. They have their leader right here on a Bray Shaman Death Herd. And then they have some more high tier Beastigors at the back, but even they are really not much to worry about. But on the left flank, which obviously we couldn't see any of this, just remember that, were the Forest Elves. I believe it's, the actual Forest Elves and not Ogwillian today. They're bringing along lots of these movable mobile archers, being supported by Eternal Guards and some War Dancers. So not the usual Forest Elves build you'd see. These Sisters of Thorn are here again, always a Sisters of Thorn here. A Tree Man as well as Dethurus, they're going for big, large damage here. And the Beastmen are throwing some gore balls into this side as well. So they're really looking to capitalise on these trees. So I have one unit of gyrocopters that I forgot about. Mostly use them for ranging, and I literally exactly what I predicted would happen. I send them in to look at the flank, and instantly, because they're on firewall, they completely give themselves away. And suddenly myself and my allies are completely aware that this is coming on this flank. While they're doing that, we are completely focusing our artillery on taking out these high tier High Elf units. Let's stick it back on play for everyone. So as you can see, Brimstone helicopters taking a lot of damage. I pull them out. All this artillery coming in here just looks absolutely fantastic. Look at this. Right along this flank, you've got the Cygor boulder in the background. Just brilliant. You can see they're just trying to reposition, getting close, so they're not going to do it for free. I mean, even once they get past the artillery bombardment, we have the High Elf archers in wait and my Thunderers. Cygor trying to exchange, but he can't really. He doesn't even hit his mark there, and he's going for my Iron Breakers, whose defensive stats are amazing. If we look over on this side, I've redeployed Slayers in preparation for all this cavalry that I know is coming. I believe one unit of Iron Breakers as well. Yep. Oh, I bought some flamethrower units as well, the Iron Drakes. Absolutely brilliant units, love these guys. The left flank of the Skavens preparing for this High Elf hit, but again, Look how much damage they're taking. So here comes the main charge. Tekla's trying to get in and get some mage spells off there. These bestigal units, as I said, they're just going to fall down, the Ungors. Here we go, the White Lions of Trash. They're going to engage. Got beastmen coming all along this flank. Just being taken down by archers though. And then we got the Skaven charge at the end here just to round it off. Brilliant. Here it comes. Big impact there. So you can see it's absolute bedlam on the battlefield. Let's slow it down, get a quick look. So we go on to tab, you can see Forest Elves still not totally engaged, but we're ready for them. We've got this line of spears and slayers, and I've moved my thunderers into support as well. The artillery is still going strong. My gyrocopters at the back here, I decided because they're anti-large, I would try and take out the Cygor. I just needed them to get away from those archers. Skaven holding lots of units in reserve here. You can see he's holding several melee units back. He's really specifically trying to keep the lines as they are, and I'm holding my Iron Drakes, my leader, in specific reserve. I do not want to engage them until I really have to. So that being said, now we're updated, let's go back to play and get a few more shots into this. Look at this, here comes the trees, the March of the Treants. I do love this map though, with the drop of the city in the background and the sun. Just looks fantastic. Wow. Love the animation on those aggressive attacks. Whoa. So you can see the Forest Elves have really come out of the woodwork. They've stopped going for the flank and they're just going for the general pepper now. Which might be a smart play, you never know. They're trying to exchange with the archers. My Iron Drakes just let this Beastman Lord have it. Beautiful. Look at all these shafts just going off. All those explosions in the background. Let's follow this arcing shot, shall we? Look at that. Absolute bedlam. Let's slow it down because it's on this flank, as you can see. Gorballs are coming in, and these Iron Drakes are finally engaged. Not Iron Drakes, Iron Breakers and Slayers have come in to try and deal with the Tree Man, because you know they're high damage, anti-large, they are unbreakable. Thunder is still trying to support, and I thought I'd gotten away from all the flanking, because as you see all the units have come out, and I was pretty sure that they'd all moved out at this point. So I'm pretty confident with moving my Thunderers in. Still maintaining the catapults, just firing at whatever backline units I see. Pretty sure I command each of them specifically to target these backlines. Can't really, yeah, as we can see, any of these back units, that's what I'm specifically targeting catapults with. Over here, ooh, that looks like the Foot of Gork spell, except it isn't. It must be a Skaven version. Whoa, what is this? I haven't seen this spell, but it looks very cool in slow motion. Look at that. I wonder if it's a persistent plague more than it is an explosion, actually. Oh, but speaking of big spells, here it comes. Easily one of my favourite spells in the game now. Come on, Phoenix. Take your sweep. In fact, we'll try and look at that. Fantastic. So over here, as I said, I thought I was okay from the flank, but then this Star Dragon comes in. And he just starts, oh, look at that, big damage coming in. Iron Breakers and Slayers are doing well, Defuru pulls out. Catapults now starting to get hit by those Forest Elves. Leaders still in reserve. Iron Drakes have moved in. Not Iron Drakes, I apologise, the Iron Drakes are here. Iron Breakers have moved in to try and plug the gaps. So if we get a quick look at that, you can see the front line crumbled, so I thought I had to fill the gaps here. I sent in more Iron Breakers to this flank because it was just crumbling. And there we go, Forest Man, Defuru is just going to come in I believe he chases these Thunderers off the map. I really tried to micromanage those, but there was not much I could do. And these Thunderers get hit by gore balls. There it is, that's where I tried to plug the gap on the left flank. And in the centre I tried to chase off small units. These guys come in to try and hit this dragon because they have anti-large. And then I got my super high tier iron breakers, just trying to plug this gap here. So over here, this flank, the right flank, it's not going amazing for us, and that's mostly because of this forest elf support. But I know if we can outlast it, we'll do okay. Catapults finally getting taken out. And you can see the Skaven still hold a very strong position, and the high elves on their flank are almost dead. That's why I committed 2 whole units here. I thought I could really help them break this. Some slayers. And over here, these guys are simply a delay tactic. They're simply to keep it busy. Oh my goodness, where is that Phoenix going? Oh, brilliant. So basically, if we go into tab here, we'll slow it down. If we go into tab here, what's happening is we've won the left flank, and it's sort of become, instead of front line like this, it's more of a diagonal line now, with me slowly trying to pull units back this way. I'm trying to ease off on the Thunderers and these Iron Breaks. I'm trying to reform a line with High Elves. I sort of ended up around my catapults, because the Skaven position is just absolutely allowing for us to do that. Obviously, with this new chunk, all we've got to worry about is the Forest Elves and what's left of the Beastmen, I should say. Not really the whole Beastmen unit. Some High Elves dotted around, but nothing too worrying. So that's what's about to play out. We're about to try and pull this flank back, create a new line, and pull this flank forward to make another straight line, hold them in position, and let them charge at us. Let's stick it on play and watch this. Still, just trying to hold the units off with my super high tier Iron Breakers here, being a wall like they're supposed to. Just not letting anything through. Archers reforming a line here to try and return fire. You can see I'm pulling all my dwarves back. Let's get a quick shot of this quick. Here we go. I'm reconsolidating units, pulling all these guys back as I said, trying to reform that new line. I am allowing the high elves to take the brunt, but that's because, as you can see, I traded some really high tier units for that front. And so I want to let them... Even this tree man, I don't know whether he specifically threw him in like this, but he is way too far forward. Catapult, still doing what they can. They get a pretty high kill count from this fight, I'm pretty sure. My brimstone gun helicopters finally come into the fight. I believe with these guys, I tried to get some bombing runs off. Actually don't know if I can check if their bombing runs have been used up at this point. Oh, they've killed no one, so I don't think it has. So we'll follow the brimstone guns for a bit, see if I can get this bombing run off on camera. Because as I said, all I'm doing at the moment is regrouping my units and allowing high elves to take the brunt. Some more brimstone shots going off. No, I may have missed the bombing run then. So yeah, here we go. You can see clearly that the team coordination in this match was just perfect. I painted the line, Skaven set up the front of it, and High Elves adjusted the edge. Again, I allow my catapults to be taken here. It's just a delay tactic, just to hold them off. Iron Breakers still in the fight, just taking as many down as they get. And the Skaven are just taking out what they can, holding a line. Look at this, they love the fact that they've brought these units into the left flanks. Now these warp lightning cannons, which are anti-large, are just gonna absolutely lay into these guys. They don't stand a single chance. And here we go, here's a new front. They don't really have much left. There's those Thunderers I was talking about. They get chased to the edge of the map and back. There goes my Slayers. Here comes the Thuru. And here's my reconsolidated lines. Let's get a quick sweeping shot of these guys, shall we? A new line of the Alliance, preparing for the next wave. Ready to meet their makers. in the face of this. And so here it comes. Here comes the Forest Elf charge. Trying to make any dent they can. And he sends out Teclis to meet him with spells. And I send out my Slayers leading the charge. Cannot be broken, so I'm not worried about it. I literally need them to hold them in place while the High Elves reconsolidate, because they are our range. And so if our High Elves can keep firing, then we have an advantage over the Forest Elves. Oh yeah, I went to save my Iron Breakers. That was the play. I wanted to bring them back into the fold. And to do that, I had to relieve them. And so who else better to do it than Slayers to take that attention away. Over on this side, you can see, here we go, they attack my catapult units, who actually managed to hold out pretty well. They do a pretty good job at delaying them. And the Skaven start to commit, I send in the Brimstone guns, and here we go. Slayers slamming into those Weight Watchers. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. And the Brimstone helicopters just clearing up what they can. Very weird melee combat those. So let's slow it down and get another view of what's going on. So you can see the new lines have been formed and the last fight has started. I'm mostly around the centre. The Skaven are holding the left. In fact, we should probably get a look at what the Skaven are up to because they're swinging all the way around. You can see they're trying to send in some cavalry to block them off. But the most important thing is at the back here, I still have some very fresh, very eager units. They don't have too many losses, but they are raring to go. And these guys, every unit they have is being thrown into this mix, and they're not particularly high tier. Let's get a quick look at what the Skaven are up to. They're running in Gutter Runners and Death Runners on this flank. And that's a really good combination, because anything that tries to commit on them they can kite around. Oh, even the Cygors having to be thrown in. You know they're desperate when they use the artillery Minotaurs with these Cygor units. They're not melee units. It's just the last chance saloon, as it were. But look at him, doesn't he look magnificent? The background of that tower. I like that. Skaven and Beastmen fighting it out for the High Elf Palace. Alright, so let's go back to the front. Forest Elves committing everything they have. Trying to take out my Slayers, which I honestly think is a mistake. Don't ever focus Slayers. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Unless you have equally damage dealing units, it's best to ignore them. So these fresh units I have here, it's time to move them in. Let's go to play, but we're going to keep the icons on so you can see what's happening. So I see their leader moving in. I see they don't have much to commit in the center. They really only got range and that's running out. So I'm like, this is it, all in charge. They're breaking on the left. Skaven are doing a fantastic job. Look at this, they're trying to set up some sort of line. They're doing the charge into my Slayers and Iron Breakers though, my super elite units. They're never going to die. Look at this, and now he just has to wait. Just has to wait for my king to bring in the last of the men. Here it is. Even the Star Dragon isn't a problem anymore. Into the Slayers, yeah. Help those boys out. Oh. Oh. Big damage there. There it is. Doosh. Both leaders committed in one fight here. All of my big units in the max. You can see off in the distance, the Skaven are just surrounding and eliminating what's left of the Beastmen. And here on this flank, the Forest Elves haven't got long left. High Elves know what's going on, they're committing the leader, they haven't got much else to give. Look at this, all these Forest Elves finally giving up. And I had these Thunderers that I forgot to use, still surviving in the forest. And all it's really up to now is the Princess here, trying to fight these units, one of which is Phoenix Guard, which is never going to go well. Anti-large, very buffy unit. Look at that whip on these guys. I do love these units, they do look cool. Awesome. King versus king. King under the mountain versus king in the woods. Awesome. Oh no. That one poor Ironbreaker. So we've still got the brimstone guns, we've still got quite a good line. The Skaven, doing what Skaven do best, just spreading like the plague all over the place. This is what I was talking about with the kiting. Even if they committed the Sisters of the Thorn, they're never going to catch up with every unit, so they can always just run them around. Cygor's on the break, pretty much all the beastmen are dead, except for this little unit here. And it's now just up to these leaders. So I send in, as you would, the Slayers to slay them a dragon and a great tree god. Let's put it on play. Oh! He didn't give a fuck. He was straight through there. But here we go. We've come to chop this tree down to size. He's having none of it. More explosions, and there it is. Thank you for joining me here today, guys. We might have a quick look at the stats actually for this episode. Maybe see how many kills people got. So you can see Slayers, really high efficiency cost. 100 for the ones I really committed, 28 for the ones that had to deal with the brunt of the main attack. 183 kills for those elite Ironbreakers, absolutely fantastic units. Catapults doing what they do best, just from a distance, and the Thunderers, as I said, they got focused. I couldn't get anything done with them. Skaven, doing okay, mostly their artillery that did a lot of work. High Elves, again, they're pretty average. Lots of their archers doing the work, which is what I wanted. And I imagine on this side it was all Forest Elves all day. 99, 111. Yeah, I imagine they did most of the kills. Oh, 98 on the Star Dragon, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, and a fair amount for the Beastmen as well. Wow, the Beastmen actually pulled out quite a few stops. But there we go. Thanks for joining me. See you in the next episode.